inaugurated at Waitangi Festival. That's it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I've been dying to meet you. How did you steal his heart?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Eh? You don't know what that means?
We're working on things together in the business of putting our people back together and save the world. That's what our relationship in business matters family, commerce. Yeah, that's to put it bluntly, because she's trying to find an answer. I'm just saying our relationship is with the family, the whānau and the hapu, to pull them together for the rest of the world.
So, you've got a very, very good man there. He's done so much hard work. So have I. I've already established a Maori government for the Maori people, for the Maori nation, for the sovereign nation of Aotea.
And what's the man represented again, Mama? Kena kore kato korero ya tino ato te korero atera korero mai.
What TV is this?
Goes on the Honewano.
Mawai,
Oh, it's yours.
Mawai TV, news productions manager for everything tikanga and Maori too. He's a tainui to report back to yourself.
Kaparu?
The giant.
On the spot?
He's the latest giant.
You're a kaparu.
No, his ancestor is Kafaru.
Kaparu.
Yeah.
You can't go over there.
Come and sit.
Yeah, Kafaru the
I was
giant.
in the wrong seat.
He's standing in for Kafaru the giant. That's why he's a giant.
On the 4th of
Gentle giant.
On the 4th of February, 1999, I went to Waitangi with the youth of this area, of the Tairawhiti. And when we got there, this man stood in the front, he stood in the doorway, and his name was, he said, "My name is Karahe Maori. I have come here, I have been commissioned by the Confederation of Chiefs of Tribes to come here and commission you, Sue Nikora, to do important things for our Maori people. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to form a Maori government for our Maori nation. Second thing I want you to do, I want you to achieve the full, exclusive, absolute, final autonomy for the Maori people. And that what interpreted that word, the words were the mana Maori, so you could achieve the mana Maori motuhake of the Maori people. And the third thing I want you to do, I want you to resurrect, reinstate, and reaffirm the Confederation of Chiefs of Tribes. Right. Because it's a difficult task, I'm giving you all my powers now. This is what he said. Giving you all my powers. I've been the last of the chair people for the Confederation of Chiefs of Tribes, but I'm giving you all my powers so that maybe you'll be able to the mission that I have imposed on you. And so that was the mission that I gave. And he goes to me, he says to me, and don't you ever come back here until you have completed your mission. Okay? until you've completed your mission. Just this last time, I went up there on the 28th of December, on the 28th of October, and I asked Kingi if I could stand up and explain to him what this whole scenario was about, what the Māori government meant, and what the achievement of the Mana Māori Motuhake was all about, and the whakaputanga o te tino rangatiratanga. I spoke there for 2 hours,
Yes.
2 hours. They gave me, they're horrible people, some of them. They
True.
interrupt and all that, but no, they never interrupted. For 2 hours I spoke to them, and they listened. I did the analytical report according to Māori language and English as well, because people can't understand the Māori language, and all people can't understand the English very well. And so it was a success. Okay. Then they asked me, right, come up for the Tiriti o Waitai. So I went there for 7 days. 7 days, I thought, well, I'm going there to report to them that the mission for Karahimari had been completed. Okay? And you know, it happened so quickly, and it happened so, you know, it wasn't prepared or anything, and this group of old men came along, and they sat right in front of me. And this old man I didn't know, they all belonged to the Taumata Nui o Ngāpuhi Nutanu. And this old man's name was Widamu Peita. And what he said was, all right, Karahimari commissioned you. You tell us what's happened to that commission. I said, I'm happy. I'm happy to report it has been completed. And I went through the whole thing, and then he said, all right then, there was another man, Herewini Karaka, Herewini Karaka, sitting there, and Herewini Karaka says, oh, okay, we'll move a vote, whether we accept it or not. Move a vote, and they should have just accepted. No, there were 14 versus 6, so it was passed. So the Māori government was inaugurated at that certain time. And before everybody could wake up, it was done. No, I was so happy. That it occurred. It occurred in such a way. Right? Now it's been 17 years since Karahimari. Karahimari put it to me 17 years ago, and the thing is, there's been lots of trials and tribulations, and I've been able to form a Māori government under the auspices of 4 areas: Pai Hauauru, Pai Whakatau, Pai Rāwhiti, and Pai Tonga. And under a government which is called democratic democracy. So what that means is we have the full, final and autonomous mana Māori motuhake.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, so you can always ask me questions what we were talking about. We want to fit your talk into what we've been doing on the marae as well, and that has also been voted on, the same as you've been voted on, but they are a little confused as to how that all works between the Maori government and Britain, and
The
so
Maori government,
explain.
The Maori government really is the administrator of all that is Maori as far as commerce is concerned, as far as anything is concerned. It has to go through the Maori government. Okay, and the Maori government has got the jurisdiction and has got all the things to make it happen. Okay? Without the Maori government, okay, because the Maori government has got governance, reign and rule. Governance, reign and rule. And it has full mana Māori motuhake, run under tikanga Māori. Okay? And how perfect could it be apart from that?
Sue, we're here today. I've come down with myself, Hoani Kahaki Wānoa. I'm here on the Aotea marae, Te Araroa. We've just concluded meetings in connecting back to Te Marae, and I was here to hear how we help each other. I think that's what we were talking about, and how we blend her Maori government, which is looking after the land, while I have a group here of myself, Dion, Paiko Walker, and his wife Tika. She's Cook Islander from Aitutaki, but that's connecting us to the Cook Island side, the Paikeha side of the history, and you being part of that Cook history that's on our land. And we are just, and we have Jamie, Anna Marie, Patrick, Stewart, and mixed with Ngātai families on the land blocks. But I want to put it this way, Sue. We have stood beside you and supported you on Te Marae, on the native court, grand jury, that has been set up, and it looks like they've run off with it, but keeping check of everything there. That is how the hapu is interpreting it, as if they own it, and they still need induction into something new such as that. And the history, you've got a wealth of history. We're not here for me, we're here for you, to tell you of what we have done and what we know you are capable of. You have to have a government to run the country. If there's a government there, one is superior to the other. We know you've got all the elements of Maori government. That's history in the Confederation I've been mixed with all the way through. So I can understand without that they can't function in their hapu and their whānau without their own autonomy and in the correct order, not shortcutting, which is what's happening at the moment. So Sue, I'm going to hand it to you and to continue with how we work together.
Okay. You see, there's a saying in Māori where it says, "Mate huruhuru, karere te manu." Without feathers, the bird is unable to fly. And so I've been in touch with my banker. My banker is a merchant banker, and he's been working alongside me as to how we should get funding to acquire what we want for our Māori government. Now, he suggested that what I should do is
Got a visitor.
who's a visitor.
I'm not sure. Here.
Kia ora whaia. Ko pera.
Eric. Kia ora. Hai. Marina.
Purena, tēnā koe, ko tīon toki mo. Tēnā koe.
Miri.
Marina. Uncle.
Yeah, Bob.
Oh, there's a chair. Oh.
See, Lala.
We're just having a little corridor.
Okay, so we'll continue with our meeting here with Sue. For the record, we have a record running with the Native Court Grand Jury. That we're going through a series of maraes. We have started from Te Rerenga Wairua, straight from Te Ti Marae on the 6th of February. We travelled to the first of the spiritual side of our journey with this native court to establish title to the land, and we've gone from Te Rerenga Wairua, Te Hiku o Te Ika Marae with that hapu there, Te Hapua, down to Waimana, and we had a hui there with Jim Wikotu, or Jim Tupi Wikotu, and connected that history there of the marae right at the back, the last one up the road, and it took us a long time to find that, but we did. So we brought that back to Aotea marae with Chick Karaka, and we had a hui there, and that's all set up to go with the native court there open, and we're just opening native courts on the land for the hapu to apply the native titles and convert them back to the colonial government back through to customary title and the mortgage removed. So then we went to Rangitukia and connect up to Nukutere Waka. We videoed that. That history goes back to Oneone and the whakapapa and all that. We're doing that at the present time with Rapata Ka, and his whakapapa looks certain to be down that line of Toi Karako and Rauru and through to the other tupunas. So I'll leave that one there, and we've come, we were meant to go to Whangara, this spiritual journey that our Maui TV and news production manager, that's Dion Harp from D-Harp String Band from the Polynesian Islands, I'll give you a number afterwards. And then we have come here straight from there to Sue to join her back to the land, and she's managing the land. We are looking after the history and recording that for Westminster, and that's where we're going from Te Ti Marae and taking that title back to reverse there through the Crown. Crown Corporation from Queen side to King side. I'm acting as a surrogate king, and they know, they're calling me there King John, and they're also saying that in Ngāpui. They've passed voting that I'm a surrogate, the same as a captain on a ship, and they're calling it Maui Crown, so that they've accepted that in their meetings. And the first one has gone through Herewini Karaka, representing the British immigrant named Clark, with Bundy Waitai, the Waitai name, to complete that side of the land transaction as one title to change over. So from that we've come here to Sue. She is a Maori government that we support. You need a government of a state-to-state process, and it has to be in order for the 4 regions of this country. And I'm familiar with all of that confederation right through the years with Mohi Manukau and Machitarawa and all the rest, and Sue. So she's the only surviving member that's proficient to put the whakapapa and the titles together. That's why we're here today. So I'll hand it over to you, Sue.
Well, that's all important. We talk about titles, which would mean ownership. There's only one title in New Zealand, and that's the title of the land that is owned by the indigenous Maori people. Right? And it's been bastardized so many times by the construct of the settler government, and it is our job to bring it back to its original ownership. Now, without that, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to establish our ownership and our take or our importance as the tangata whenua of this country. We've already established all that, and pleased to tell you that, yeah, we have now looked through the way in which we could organise the infrastructure of the hierarchical structure of the Māori government. So, Māori government for Māori, of Māori, by Māori. Okay, and pleased to know that that you people have been around conversing with different people, and I dare say I was there at Waitangi when the kerfuffle was on, and I'm very, very sorry that a lot of people didn't see eye to eye. And
would you like to know?
eh?
Would you like to know what happened?
Well, they said sorry in the end.
Oh, yes,
eh?
they did, yeah.
Yeah, and but it's too late to be sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Next time, people must try and use the common sense.
Do you know what they're calling me now?
What?
666, whatever that means, and Satan. That's my new title. So,
No,
so
it's nothing to be proud of.
no,
because
but
I think that they're wrong. They're wrong. They should try doing what you have been doing all these years.
so
Exactly.
I'll just explain here for Sue that my role was chiefly to be a in place of a absent king, and so all we did was I said to King, he says, John, I want my land back. I says, there's only one simple way to do it, King. And he says, what? Capture the ship on the other side of Waitangi Marae, capture the courthouse of the world, that Marae. It's got all the carvings in it, and most of it belongs to Ngāti Pro down here. So he says, so what's that going to do? He says, well, you've got two crowns. Oh, you've got a Queen's crown and a King's crown. The King's crown is the one that created all the titles and all the land transactions and the bank and pound notes. And so that's what we're going there to seize that off them and seize the ship off them and the flags and then bring it into Titinga. So all we did was, what happened was this, Sue, in Kororareka they bought the flag over but left the native court behind. They never brought the court with it in Okiato in Kororareka. It was sitting there that James Busby opened that court but never had the British sovereignty of a king. And so James Clinton went back to England and brought back a British sovereign authority from King William. Only because two chiefs went to England. One was Mongi Hika from that Kurahopa Waka up there, Cook Island side, chiefs went there and got the muskets to shoot up the other side, Horny Hekas. And this is what I'm telling you, two chiefs at Loggerheads. We went and documented in Hokianga, Horny Hekas memorial. We always start with a memorial. It's there. But when we went up to Te Hapua and Te Hiku Te Ika Marae, there was no memorial, you see, because they're hidden it. The British hid it, told them don't show anyone, and that became Admiralty. Anything Admiralty is private business, nobody's business, only the king and a chief. And that chief was for the muskets, he was to conquer all the other natives, and the other chief, the second chief, was Tira Waikato Wharahere Hankau, from just down in the Waikato area, and the Manukau real estate company in Glasgow was set up for that reason, and the native title, a blueprint inside that Titi Mara, the Kororareka native court. At that time, they used the 1830 blueprint from those two chiefs, Te Waikato, they just cut off at Te Waikato, and that's Tainui, by the way, in that area of Cambridge, to Cambridge in England University, where Te Waikato went to learn land transactions, banks, mortgages, and transfer of land in the native title. He set it up there in 1830. And so Captain Clendon came to Kororareka, brought that title, and Pomore's lands, sold the land and used that native court there in the British first government, okay, in Kororareka. And then later on, 1844, Honiheke chopped the flag down, and the British government shot the whole place up and took the government to Kohimarama. And when they got to Kohimarama, they put the Manukau titles in 1834 up at Kororareka. That's when they started. But from then on, they set up the native court and the government in Kohimarama with the Manukau land titles. And the Manukau land titles seized all the titles from New South Wales and reissued them. So that's where we're at with that. With me being in the place of King William as his surrogate, every captain on a ship, a British ship, that says the land belongs to the King of England and Britain, UK, that's what I'm doing. I'm saying, I proclaim the land belongs to the chiefs and not the King and Queen of England. It doesn't belong to the King and Queen of Spain either. And that was the proclamation we said on that native court by the Popo. So now the new native grand jury court is in the paddock next to the Popo and the tent. That is the highest court in the world. That all the native titles in the world came from those two chiefs for the transfer of lands from King William. The last king on earth is King William IV. The king before that, King William III, he put together the Bank of England, he created the banknote, he created the gold coins money, and he created the 8-point star on the flag, which is St. Patrick's church order of the borough councils to collect the money and the grand rent for the king's conquered land. That's the position I hold right through the world, and including New Zealand, which is 0.14% of the population of 7 billion people in the world, and the mass land area, plus your continental shelf area of land as to the size of the global mass land. So in proportion, what we're doing here is setting the benchmark from that two chiefs for the whole indigenous countries who are waiting. The Canadian Indians have bought these flags already, and they're going through that system. And if you're holding that flag, then that's the meaning of it. It's a conqueror of lands. It is a mortgage lien over any land in the world. So we hold the, in this country, we hold the blueprint of all the wealth in the world that belongs to the king, and not the king. The queen is an administrator. So you become an administrator of these lands, see? And we only administer what's happening to these lands to Britain. Our partner is the king, not the queen. In this case, all our documents, which are now in the Writ Warrant and the proclamation, is for the king and not the queen. Okay? So that's my take on it, Sue, in a bundle. We overarch all the native countries and seize them back, one shot. We get one land here and it's a house of cards. It just falls like domino. But you are chiefly in your woman side of the whakapapa as being ariki, and we recognise that in our whakapapa, the Kukara side of Aititaki with Tika here, and she's got a wealth of knowledge. She loves to sing her song of the Polynesian touch in the marae. And so we're just bringing to the marae the missing bits of the spirit of music in a different way that's never been doing. And the Marais are going, where did that come from? You see? And it was always there, but they left it out. They left out the spiritual music bit in these kapahaka and everything else. It's going to change because we're putting that back in to ourselves, which like the runangas have pulled out and put their own spin on iwi interpretation of history the way their crown sees. So we're using the king crown, not the queen's crown. They're using the queen crown to change us in the mirror image of us to them. Now we're taking their mirror image and changing back this way and letting them see themselves in the mirror. That's all. Your turn.
Well, you know, one thing that they didn't do, the crown, while all these transactions were going, one thing that they didn't do is they didn't conquer us. Okay? So our tino rangatiratanga, our mana Māori motuhaka remains with us forever.
I'll add to that. I'm saying this. With a king, everything he conquers is just bits of paper. They're just titles on top of titles on top. You know that. It's title inside a title inside a title inside a bigger title. What we've done is taken the big title and worked from the top down. Right? And we say, we are the king at the top of this whole lot of kerfuffle going on in the Vatican. It's all in bits now. They're all falling apart and we have to be there to replace it.
What about the king of Tainu?
The king of Tainu has his own contract. He's doing the same thing with the contract, but his flag is also a flag of New Zealand that the New Zealand government recognises their 8-point star. But it hasn't got a contract with the King William. It's only got a contract with themselves and whoever they're going with the Queen.
And they neglected to do that.
Oh no, they're allowed to do what we do. They're allowed to, Maori's allowed to do anything because they've got the right of Westminster. It's Westminster.
They can rule.
Yeah, they can rule.
Overrule.
Yes, they can overrule.
Can override.
Yes, if it's a hard sell like us, we are a hard sell. When you're a hard sell, I'm a hard sell. Right? To the whole world watching, we're both hard-headed sellers. So I'm putting a overall worldview on something that we're a part of a worldview size, and we put a big figure on 970 million trillion pound note. That came out of the World Bank's figures. They've exposed it, they've blown it with these whistleblowers. I'm not a whistleblower, I'm a picker up of a whistleblower, and I put all that information as factual and claim it, because no one's claimed the 1.7 million metric tons of gold that's missing. And all we do is write the pound note and say it's over there somewhere. And the British military, Navy, is our partner. That's the captain on a ship who says the land belongs to the king. And if I say the land belongs to the chiefs, and this Ariki woman that's got all the documents to say she's there to run the Confederation. So we accept someone of knowledgeable and reputable information that we assess as native assessors. I assess her for the British sake. I'm saying to our partner, the British, own up and pay up. So they have to honour that money. She gets it first, or I get it first, one or the other. She can borrow, but no, she can't borrow. I've got to give it. I can't loan the money out. It belongs to all the people in the world, and she gets her portion of it. And her figure will always be lower than the figure I've got, because our assessed figure is many times over, 2,500 times the fiat money is spun over in the banks up to 2,500% over, and it's normally 9 out of 10 of $10 is $1 is what you're going to get is less than 1%. That's what the settlement here of the government here is trying to settle with you for 1%. We do 100%. Straight to Britain. We cut out the middleman. There's no agents. We take the mortgage off. We release it with a writ warrant. That's on that proclamation, with the proclamation, and that does the trick. They're frightened of that. We have to be ready. So if it does work, we're ready, and they'll cut the benefits and cut everything off because they got no access to that fund that they're getting and stealing from our trust. the Queen Victoria Trust. So we cover that with the pound note as well, everything in it. And everything, the 66 million acres of land in the world, we put in the pound note and just keep writing. So you just put in your invoice and let's try that out. But we've got the chiefs now run and run off with it. We let them run and they'll always come back to us because it's got to go through TT to go to Westminster in that process. But you're the administrator of the land, that's your job. So that's your job to administer, minus to report back the other way and pay out. That's how that works. Otherwise, if you've got your bankers and get money, that's going through the system. That goes through the Crown Corporation, New South Wales Government, and everything. I'm saying the popos are here at Titi Marae, and everything on that side of the popo, north of that, is in the system of the Crown Corporation, Queen, and this side is the King on the popo, where the tent was, and all the people who call themselves sovereign. So that flag, it represents commerce, banking, conquering of lands. Its name is the Declaration of War flag, as at the 20th March 1834, the Captain Clendon British government title, first transaction to Pomare, that sold the lands to him in 1834. So that's the first piece of land they sold, 220 acres in 1830. And Clendon didn't have the British sovereign king's title, power of monarchy to back it up. So he went back to England, and that's when Te Waikato Wharehere put it together in Cambridge, and they came down back to Cambridge. The Maunga Tautari is the title that chief, that's his marae, and that's where the Manukau got their real estate company set up in Scotland. For all the world, all the titles in the world is under the Scottish company, the Manukau Land Company, at 1834. Okay, from there. So that separates that part of the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag is under the Queen's side, Queen Victoria. So, well, that's where the money is, on that side, and the King before that is where the laws are. So I'm doing the law with Jamie, and Jamie happens to be a Patrick, which is the 8-point star surname. So we've taken her surname into the financial part of the banking, and I'm doing the banking, her and I are doing the banking for that pound note of King William III that owns that right, and we are the partners of King William III as well. King William III is 1650 AD to 1701 period of those governing laws. Those are the laws we're using in this Moai Crown King William IV Trust. We're using the Moai Crown as the memorial to King William IV, King William III's memorials for the land titles through the world, right through the world. And so we've got a big lot of people around the world watching me, and they're starting to believe it. And these Ngāpuis are believing it now. So that's the end of that. They know, they've cottoned on. They threw me out of the marae on the 4th when the Governor-General was coming in, because that document, that Writ Warrant, was going to shut them down. Was going to shut them down. And Kingi walked off, left it on the floor. I picked it up, took it back, and then Hama Apiata from the Taumata came over, and he wanted it back because it looked to him that I'd taken it back off the Taumata. And the Taumata does not have any right to these documents. It's the Hapu chiefs, not the Taumata. The Taumata is only on the marae to give direction, but when Selwyn Clark got up, or Herewini Kraka got up, he took precedence over the rangatira on the floor, and he made the vote for that native court to open, and that's how it opened. He opened it on the British side, right, of Clark. He did that on the Clark side because he's the partner over here, living here. The Clarks that came, the real estate people came from Britain, okay, and then Bani Watai came over. They're the only ones that walked over to the marae, to the native court. The other ones just sneered at it, as if it's only a tent.
Because they didn't understand.
They didn't realise that they only understood 2 days later. They said, "Oh, tell John to come and explain what the writ is and what the proclamation is." And so I told them, and before long they got it. They got it, and they said, "Shucks, we'll just go and do it." And that's when they took over it and got into trouble now, because they interpret it the way they think, but it won't go through the rest of the process. The key is here, right, with me and you. Okay, so I'll just tell you a little secret. Oh, we just little secret.
No, we go back a long way.
We go back a few years, 20 years. 20 years plus.
Yeah, with Mohi, Manuko and Dell and all
I've been
that.
with them for that long, and I've watched everyone open their mouth and say, don't listen to that one, don't listen to that one, don't listen to that one, don't listen to that one. And I've listened to the whole lot of them. And I thought, mechanic's view, I'm a mechanic, right? I apply the mechanic's theory. Pull the spark plug out, pull that plug out, put all the spark plug, put new ones in, and see what happens. And that's what happened. We did a tune-up, good tune-up, change the
Together we'll
change the blown head
solve,
gasket. Yeah.
solve the
It
problem.
had a blown head gasket on the engine. So I'm just tuning up our waka, the Nukutere waka at the Waipu River, and so we're starting from there and re-establishing that history to Toi Rākau, Toi Kairākau, to Raro, and to the rest of the whakapapa down from that to establish that marae. Nukutere marae and Nukutere hapu is where we are starting our journey next, and we'll link up with you with the government. You have to undo this government and build them right to the cent, okay, in the New Zealand dollars before we convert it to the Maui pound note. The Maui, why we say Maui is to put the Maori over here and the Maui here because we are Maui. The British, Queen Victoria, picked up the first Maui off East Island and took it to London and hid it over 100 years and used the spirit to mirror herself around us, the politicians. And that stands today. They put the Maui, and the Dutch left the Maui alone. Dutch is King William III and King William IV is Dutch. They own the Vatican, right? They own all the money. They own all the commerce because they're the king. What the king says goes. Okay? I just tell you. What I say goes. Because I'm not really a king. I just, on paper, I say, I'll be a king for a day. Okay? Tomorrow I'll be a mechanic. So that's how it works. We just undo what they did and put it back where it was. Okay? So that's simply to put it. One of us is going to get the money first. Well, your money's just money. So all I do is making debtors out of those people on the land, the mischief ones. Even the trustees are mischievous. They get to bill. So you tell me how much Sue, and I'll say, oh, not enough. Right? Add a few notes on the end of it. Because your figure will always be lower than what I had. Anyway, that's how I worked it out. I worked it out that the British have to pay. They have to make them pay. The Navy is our partner, not anybody else, not the government. It's that captain on the ship, and Sir Philip
according
Jones.
to Admiralty law.
According to Admiralty and us, we have seized the Admiral because we got the flag. Nobody else has got an Admiral flag. We got it, but our people haven't interpreted in a war sense of conquering other lands and making banknotes out of it. Right? That's all we've done is made the flag do the work and own the flag and own who's playing around with it, take it off them and build them for all all that wealth that the Queen made, she made fraudulently. So all we say is, well, we didn't know where you got that from, but we're going to make an assessment of account. We have made an assessment before we're going to replace you as a trustee, and that's what we're going to do. Replace her as the trustee of our Queen Victoria Trust and run it ourselves, because she's now in the EU Parliament.
That's right. She's been in there for quite a while.
And she's trying to shut down Britain, and the Brexit is trying to survive. The flag is going to save them. We're going to save them. So with the flag, you do this end, we do the other end, and we say hello and send greetings. Okay, that's what I'll do the haka with us. So he's responsible to look after me and Jamie, and with our history. And your turn now. I talk too much.
No, I agree. I agree. If only people would give the time to listen to what was being said.
Took them a bit of time to sink in, but when they sunk in, they took off with it. Good luck to them. They'll always come back to Papa and Mama. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that we're doing the right thing.
We are doing the right thing as far as I'm concerned, because
for the sake of our
Come
people.
on.
people are the judges. People are the judges. Watching.
Cup of tea time.
And Dion, I'd like to ask you some question about the Cook Island side. Let's have a bit of Cook Island side of the history of
Cup of tea, girl.
how that fits.
Okay.
Yeah, I met her the upoko ariki.
Family.
Pa ariki.
Pāriki, they're from the Taki Tumu waka no Rorotonga.
Pa, no,
Yeah, Pāriki o te Te Ariki Waine.
Is she related to her?
She come from the outer island called Araro Inua or Ruki Te Moana, the original name for Utataki. Aitutaki.
I think
Yeah. O te
she
inua
came
te
to
awaka.
Gisborne. That one came to Gisborne.
Yeah,
Pāriki.
that's the Tumu Te Waruwaro people. That's the original name of Rorotonga. Tumu Te Waruwaro.
Ai,
Original name of Rorotonga. But she come from on the other side of the motu called like Ngātangi ia and Titikavika. That's the waka called the Taki Tumu waka. Pāriki comes underneath those titles. That wahine. Yeah. But from Wahine, she come from like Mangarongaro, that's the furthest island in the 15 stars, which is called Penryn. Then she come from Lakahanga, Manihiki, and come from Aitutaki and Palmerston Island. Because her ancestor is called William Masters. He's the one that conquered Palmerston Atoll.
I know the masters.
They're the master family. She's a masters in the Toto.
I taught some of the masters in Auckland,
Yeah.
Richmond Road School.
So where does your I know you from the Rarotonga or from the same area,
Yeah,
your whakapapa, your family in the Cook Island, eh?
not really,
The Nikoras,
eh?
Nikoras.
You fellas come underneath the Nicholas
No,
family?
no. They're really Te Amohanga from Ngātamani Poto. They're the paramountcy of the Te Hauauru. The Te Hauauru is simply this. Their tipuna was Ripakatangi. She was the elder sister of Te Rauanganga, the father of King Porter, the father of King Porter. Those Nikoras, their real name is Te Amohanga and Te Hauparo.
I gotcha.
So, no.
So is that no connection to Paikea and Cook Island?
What's in the
your
way?
family, your
What's in the way? What's in the way of the waka tainui, eh?
Not
Because
through
the
there.
waka, because the waka tainui, it can hikoi back to Atutaki and hikoi back into Rapa Nui. Because Hoturo was the rangatira of the tainui waka, and his father is Hotu Matua.
Yeah.
Hotu Matua is the rangatira te ariki of the mutu called Rapa Nui.
Yeah, Rapa
And
Nui.
tainui waka, we got Hoturo, which is the captain.
So,
And then we put the tau te whiru, King Tawhio, King Mahuta, King Rata, King Koriki.
yeah.
It's still connected through the same waka.
Yeah, so
Ngāti
what,
Mani o Poto is the other iwi.
yeah, so what I'm trying to say
Which
is
is the
we're
King Country,
connecting
yeah.
up the Rapa Nui to Mokanui on the land down there at the East Cape to the Cook Island, Polynesia. So we're trying to string together, well, not trying, he's writing in the story of the Tainui and the Rapa Nui and also to the Cook Islands. Through, I thought your family was part of the Cook Island, the Rarotonga. Yeah, he wants to let you know. So
Yeah, well, in
so
terms of the
we're
waka
on the same
tainui, we
page.
connect through
We're
Hoturo.
on the same page.
We're
with
straight
Tainui.
in there anyway.
Yeah, he did the Tainui, whakapapa, and connect into Whangaro,
Yeah.
into Raglan. Yeah, with Eva Ricard, the Ricard and the Ruto, the Ravitugia, and he fits it in. So you know what we're doing, or he's
Thank you,
doing.
Bob.
To
But
string-
Mama Eva was a kiriopa, see?
Thank you.
Yeah. On that
That
side.
married into the Ngāti Parolan, which is my Papa Tex. Papa Tex, that's Auntie Angeline Quincel's father. Auntie Angeline Quincel, that's my mother's cousin.
He's very healthy.
And what's my great-grandmother's name is called Herepo Rongo. Taku great-grandmother. Buried up the top like where Mama Eva Ricard's funny. Yeah. Herepo Rongo was the oldest fire clear.
Yeah, the Lady Rongo married my uncle, Ted Baker, from Oparude. Through the Hoturo line.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, well, when it comes to the Hoturo, see, because the Moai, those Moai statues is on Papa Hotu Matua's whenua, see? Which is Tainui, which is us, Tatu Kato. But because I know that the son of Hotu Matua is Hoturo. Because Hoturo is he's the ariki of the whole motu called Rapa Nui. Yeah, which connects
He's collecting them up.
and which connects us, because you're Ngāti Mani o Poto, I'm Tainui Awhiro and Ngāti Mahanga. Nā te maanga, I come from Whatawhata. And I come from Whangaru, which is Tainui Awhiru, the same as Mama Eva Kiriopa.
Oh, yeah.
But still the Tainui Wakasi.
Yeah, she's a Kiriopa, Eva, eh?
Yeah, so all we do is appeasing the British of the correct form of history, not the Ngāti Pro, not the way of them interpreting their Ngā Tau, Ngā Pōtiki and their history. Because the Toi Kāraka, they took one of the siblings and left the other four out of their history, and that's the part that we got the book, the old book that Rapata Ka gave us, that's got what Ngāti Pro did to make their iwi and their new whakapapa to go that way. And so he's going to correct it back the other way, where it's supposed to come down the right line, and put those other ancestors in the part that they left out. Yeah, it's quite a bit. I know how it works, and so where we fit into the whakapapa and everybody else fits into it. So no one's going to go and say there. It's all for everyone, but no one's going to be singled out as being chief of everything.